I was kind of stuck on character profiles. I decided to do this one this week, and I've got another one planned for next week. This
Okay.
week is the character profile for Gorr the God Butcher, who is going to be played by Christian Bale in Thor: Love and Thunder. Thunder, not Thunder.
Thunder.
Because I'm from Watford, it's Thunder, not Thunder. And I really don't know a lot about this character at all. This is a basically brand new character to me. I've seen drawings of him from the comics, but at the same time, if you just show me a drawing of him at random, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you what character it was. So this was quite an interesting one for me, and I found out pretty quickly why I know so little about him. He's a very, very new character. His first appearance was only in 2012.
Oh, okay.
My accent is
Can't speak today.
and it's actually based on what I'm reading here. If they don't change him too much, which I get the feeling they're not going to do too much different, it's a really interesting character. So he was born on a planet with no name and basically no resources, leaving him and all of his people constantly on the brink of starvation.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly enough, this kind of led to them being very religious. They were all taught to believe in the gods, pray to the gods will protect us and keep us safe.
Mm.
And then when he was young, his mother and his father died in an earthquake, which left him to fend for himself on this planet with very limited resources. Somehow, he managed to survive into adulthood. He got married, he had kids. Then they all died. It slowly, over the period of about 3 or 4 years, his 6 children and wife died. It got down to just him and his last child, and his last child was just as healthy as him, absolutely fine, and then died quite suddenly. And this led to him proclaiming that the gods don't exist and deciding that it's all a bunch of shit. These gods don't exist, they don't care about us, we're just all alone in the universe.
Oh.
Which led to his race and tribe of people who are very religious exiling him to the desert to wander until he died. But he didn't die. He wandered, praying for death, wishing and praying to these gods he doesn't even believe in for him to just die and for this hell to be over. At which point he came across 2 gods fighting in the desert. And one of the gods begged him for help, which infuriated him so much that the other god's sword became this kind of anthropomorphic body of goo that then merged with him, and through his pure anger became his weapon, the sword. I didn't write the name of it down because I thought I'd remember, but I've forgotten. And Gorr now, with the new power that was bestowed upon him by this sword, and the knowledge that the gods do in fact exist, declared war on all gods for not answering his prayers and saving his family. So then we have a little bit of a time jump. He spent thousands of years killing various gods across the universes.
Jeez.
Until he met Thor. At this point, Gorr had been fighting and killing gods for about 3,000 years.
No one stopped him.
No one could stop him. And this led to around about the Viking time on Earth, is when this is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously Thor is at his most known to the humans of the world at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working with the Vikings, going through parts of Scandinavia, when they came across some other gods who had died. at which point Gorr attacked Thor. And just before Gorr could kill Thor, Thor managed to do enough to strike them both with lightning and knock them unconscious.
Okay.
Gorr woke up before Thor, but decided not to kill him. Instead, he dragged him to a cave and tortured him for 3 straight weeks, trying to get him to release where the location of Asgard was, so that Gorr could go and kill all the Asgardians.
Yeah.
But before Thor gave it up, the Vikings managed to find him and fend off Gorr long enough for Thor to get to safety. I didn't read much further than that because it's a character profile. We're just supposed to be getting an idea of their origin and where they come from. So the things of note are, without his sword, he's not that special.
Okay.
He is quite intelligent because he's been alive for so long and learnt lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's quite a talented fighter because he's been fighting gods for so long.
Mm.
And he's a master of torture. Again, through spending so much time doing it. But all of his power comes from the sword. The sword does make him on an even enough playing level with the likes of Thor power-wise.
Okay.
So like it's very powerful,
Mm-hmm.
but the big thing is, without his sword, he is a lot of brain, not a lot of...
Yes.
The sword is what makes him a threat to
disarm him
gods.
and you...
Exactly. But as far as I can understand, the sword is kind of bonded to him.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how easy it is to get it off of him, or if getting it off of him basically kills him. I also couldn't easily see if his extended lifespan is because of the sword, or if his race of people just can live that long. Which I think would be an even crueler twist of fate if people born on a planet with nothing, who a lot of them die very young, can naturally live thousands of years.
If they manage
Exactly.
to.